Hey, how's it going? And today we're in the motion mixer in LightWave, and I'm going to show you how to create an animation loop in the motion mixer instead of using the graph editor. I did a video on this already using the graph editor, but now I'm going to show you how to use the motion mixer, and I hope to do a couple other videos about this too. One of the challenges you're going to find, now this is going to be a character that's actually walking and covering ground, so to do it right, to save yourself a lot of frustration flying through windows and stuff like that, when you go to download your character, make sure you don't do in place and have it where the animation is showing the distance being covered like that. Don't do in place like this one where it's in place. This will save you a lot of headaches later. So when you download that, just download the character walking, make sure that they're covering distance, and then you just download the whole thing like that. It just takes a second. I've done this a couple times already, so save. Walking 7, that tells you how many times I've done it. Okay, and now we're done here. Okay, so now we're in LightWave. This is great. We're in 2019. This is a great addition that they added, is this bridge interchange thing, and it saved me a lot of frustration. So anyway, you go to read file, you're going to go to file, and there's the one I just downloaded, and I'm going to go open, and I'm going to go okay, and it's going to come up over here, and I'm going to click there, and there it is. And if I hit play, you see the character's walking, but not very far. And of course I want the character to walk farther than that. Now what happened there? Oh, there we go. Get me nervous here. The first thing I actually like to do is click on the object itself, the rig part, and then I'm gonna come over here into 0 right there. And then I could set my in-frame too, but I'm not gonna adjust that right now. Okay, so with my character selected, I'm on the 0. I'm going to go into scene editor here, up here. I'm going to collapse all this because it's too busy. And then click on the top one, select all bones in the object, and I'm going to minimize that. And it should look like that, okay? If this changes down here, don't touch anything down there. Just hit F2 and go into the motion mixer. I'm in the process of making my way through this, and I'm planning to do some other tutorials on this, but it's a little trickier than it might seem. It's a great tool, and it's going to save you a lot of time. But it is a little tricky and quirky, and there's a little bit more involved to it than it might first seem. So when you create an actor, you're basically telling the motion mixer the components you want to animate. So right now we're going to go create actor, and since we're selected on all this, it's going to select all that. So I'm just going to call this Mixamo 1 and go OK. And now all that disappears and the actor has been created. And it's important to keep an eye on this. You see I got one actor selected. And you notice I've got items in the actor is 68. And I want to say it has 67 bones and one hierarchical structure or something that kind of guides the whole thing, the whole rig. Okay, so when I save the motion later, you're going to notice this is going to be 67. And that's why you've got to get the animation from Mixamo with the character already walking, rather than trying to make the character walk in LightWave. You're going to get into some issues. You can make the character, you can just bring in a walking cycle, like a person walking in place, and then you can use a controller to drag it, but you may not be able to record that out as an hmot clip, which is a motion clip, in-house motion clip that you can use. So anyway, here we are. Now it's pretty straightforward here. What we're going to do is we've already got this character here, so now we want to create a motion. We want to record that motion that we just brought in. So if I hit play, she walks to where, let's see, go back. She walks to, well, it's easier for me to go actually into layout right here. Let me just come down here. It's easier for me to pull this thing. Where does she make her last? 31 is where she makes her last step. So with this line, set your in frame. So if you click on it and you right click and you press down Alt, you can drag that right there in match where your playhead is. Okay, and then what we can do is we go create motion, and we're going to call this walk. I have so many of these, I'll call it just walk 7. Frame 31, clear channels out, that's fine. And we're going to select all the items in the actor and go OK. These are more advanced functions. I'm not going to cover those right now. And we'll go OK. So now it's created a motion clip. And it's over here, walk 7. So now we have a motion clip created. And now if I go click here and add motion, I can just click and add the motion right there. Now if I hit play, oops, let me move this back, hit play. Of course, she's not walking that far, right? So what we can do to extend that distance one thing you can do once this clip is selected, you can actually save that clip out. So if I wanted to just go save motion, I could just call this, I don't know, walk distance short, just so that I know it's not the walk cycle. So I go save. So now that's saved and I can bring it back at any time I want. Now let's say I want her to walk more distance than she's walking. I would right click on this, go to post behavior, and now this pops up. If I right click on this, I can go offset repeat and drag this out. And I've done this before in the past, and sometimes things go wonky, but then sometimes it works just fine. So it may not work perfectly. Now if I click right here and I go Alt and right click, I can drag this all the way to the end, like so, like right there. And now if I hit play, she should be walking some distance now. And now that's a longer walk cycle, just like that. Now what I can do is save this out because it is a motion clip. Now all this will be, what I actually would have to do is, if let's say I wanted to create all one motion out of this, this goes to frame 123. So one thing I can do is I can go bake, and bake is for when you want to combine these motion clips into one. So you're going to go bake and go yes, and 123, and I can call this create motion, and I can call this long walk distance and go OK. And now it's going to bake out. It takes a while sometimes to do this, and then it'll come up over here, long walk distance, as a motion clip, and then I can save that one out as well. So I can save all these clips out, all these motions, and bring them back. As long as I'm using the same rig, I can bring them back at any time. So now I'm going to save motion, and it already says long walk distance, and I'll just go save. Wait, it looks like it's putting me somewhere other than where I was. I wanted to be, somehow it's putting me in a different file, but I'll just save it out. I'm going to save it there. Okay, I think here, save there. Okay, so now that's been saved out. Now I can bring that back at any time and reuse it. So I'll do that right now. So let's say I have these motion clips and I don't like them. If I right click, and I can go remove and get rid of the motion clip altogether. And if she's not doing anything right now because the motion mixer is overriding everything. But then I can come in here, click long walk, add motion, click here. It doesn't matter which track. And if I hit play, now I've got my motion going again. Now in the next tutorial that I'm going to do, I'm going to show you where things can get complicated. So once she gets here, so let's say you've animated this character and you've moved them to a new location, and you want to bring in another animation to blend with it, there's some things you got to do to get that to work. And because any other animation that you bring in is going to come in at 0, 0, 0. And that's pretty much how you do a basic walking animation loop. And I'll show you in some other tutorials how you would start blending. It's a little bit more involved than I thought it was initially. And so I want to take some time on those to really go through the process in a little more detail. So thank you very much, and I appreciate you watching.